Hello, and welcome to the tutorial on how to make a robot sign, the current rules of FTC 2024 through 2025. I'm Adi from Lunatex, and I'll be guiding you throughout this. First, if not already, download Autodesk INVENTOR Pro. Once done, we're going to be clicking the Part button under the New section. And we're going to wait for that to load. Once it's finished loading, we're going to begin our sketch. On the left side of your screen, you should see Part 1. Under Part 1, you should see a file that says Origin. Click on the plus button on the left side of that. You should see different types of planes show up. Click on the XY plane. Now you should see an XY plane highlighted blue on your workspace. Click on the Create Sketch button. Now we have a plane to work with. We're going to be selecting the rectangle button on the top of your screen. Let's drag that out along the line. Now we have a rectangle. According to the FTC rulebook, the minimum dimensions that a plate has to be is at least 6.5 inches wide and 2.5 inches tall. For this video, I'll be making the width 6.6 inches and the height 2.6 inches. To be able to properly scale this rectangle, let's click on the Dimension button at the top of your screen. We're going to select the left and the right sides of your rectangle and drag the value down and click. Now we should be able to freely change the value. Let's make it 6.6 inches. Now, your rectangle most likely zoomed out of your screen. To fix that, on the top right of your screen, you should see a box that says Front on it. Click on the front square. And now you should have a full view of your sketch. Now we just need to scale the top and bottom. Like I said, we need it to be 2.6 inches. And there we go. Now, we need to make sure we have multiple of these rectangles. We need a total of 3. So to do so, we're going to highlight the sketch, we're going to copy it, and then we're going to paste it. Now we have a separate rectangle. But the issue is only we can move it up and down. We can easily fix this just by going to the front button again to readjust your screen, pressing Move, highlighting your rectangle, you can now select a base point for your rectangle, and you should be able to move it freely. This will give you enough room to create a third without any issue. So we're going to move this to the top left. Okay. Now we need to do the same thing again. We're going to highlight this, copy it, Control C, and Control V. Look at that. We have another rectangle. Click on the left side of the rectangle, right here, and you should be able to move it. We're going to move it all the way to our right. Now we have enough space to which none of the boxes are hitting each other. Don't worry about the dimensions. Those will not matter if they align on top of them. Once you're done, finish sketch. In the top right of your screen, there should be a button. Click on it. It's zoomed in again. If it does this, hit the front button, and it should zoom out. Now you have all of your sketches in one nice place in the middle of your screen. Now, for this next part, we need to extrude our sketches. Now, to make our viewing a little bit easier, we're going to be clicking that box on the top right of our screen that says Front on it. Click on the top right corner. Now, all of our sketches are at an angle. We're going to be clicking Extrude. we want to extrude every single one of these. So we're going to highlight it to where our mouse hovers over each of these and click on 1, 2, 3. Now, go to distance A and make the distance 0.25 inches. Now you should be done. We have 3 separate plates. Now that we have our 3 separate plates, we need to carve out our team's number on 2 of these. So to do so, let's click the front button. Now we're able to see a front view of every single one of our plates. How about these 2 plates here be the plates we carve, and the bottom plate we leave alone. Now, to carve out our team's number, highlight and click on one of the plates. Now you see, click on the Create Sketch button. Now you should be able to see a list of things you should be able to do. Click on the Create Sketch button that's highlighted, and now you're able to manage the plane again. What we want to be able to do is we want to create text. So we're going to drag it across our lovely plate, and now we're here. Regardless of what text you have, it needs to be solid Arabic numbers that are 2 inches tall. It needs to be 0.25 inches away from your edges of your plate. So with those constraints, play around with what text would fit your team numbers. If none seem to fit, you could go back to the original sketch of your plate and increase the length to 8.5 or to 9.5 inches. For this tutorial, I'll be using 3 numbers. 2, 8, 8. One of the texts I recommend is using Rockwell Extra Bold, but you can do whatever you think would work. We need to make sure that the text is 2 inches. There we go. Now we have 288 properly aligned on our plate. Let's copy this. First, we need to deselect the text by right-clicking and hitting cancel. Now, we need to make sure we highlight the 288. Click on it and hit C. Now hit Control V. Now we should have 2 numbers. You should just be able to drag the other one onto your other plate. Awesome. Now we have 2 plates with 288 on it. But as I said earlier, the numbers have to be 0.25 inches away from the borders of your plate. To ensure that this is accurate, we're going to zoom in on one of your plates. To do that, you can just put your mouse to the middle of the plate and move your scroll wheel, and you should be able to get a closer view of the plate. Now, we're going to click the Dimension button again. Now, this time, we're going to be clicking the top of your numbers and the top of your plate. You should be able to just drag out the value. Since I said that our plate's height is 6.6 inches, I'm going to be making this 0.255. And you should be okay. We're going to be doing this to every single one of the sides that borders the number. We're going to be doing it to the left side, 0.255. We're going to be doing it to the right side, 0.255. And we're doing it to the bottom, 0.255. Now it should fit the constraints. We are going to zoom out and zoom in on the other one. And we're going to do the same thing. 0.255 inches, 0.255 inches, 0.255 inches, and then once again, for the last time, 0.255 inches. Now we're done. Both of our plates have the numbers and the dimensions properly made. So we can just hit Finish Sketch. Awesome. Now we have both plates that have our numbers already sketched out on them. We're going to want to extrude again this time. However, things are going to be a little different. Like earlier, we're going to go to the cube that has front on it and click the top right corner of the cube to give us an angle again. Now we're going to be clicking Extrude, and we're going to select the numbers. This time, however, we need to make it go inside. So for direction, we are going to make it go flipped. For distance A, we keep it at 0.25 inches. However, right next to it, we want to make sure it goes through all. Now on output, where it says Boolean, right next to join, which is already selected, we are going to want to select cut, because we want to cut out these numbers. Once that's done, hit OK. Awesome. Now both of our plates should have the numbers cut. But there seems to be an issue. There's bits of plate surrounded by nothing. If we cut these out, nothing will be able to support these. And we can't have that on our plate. So to fix this, we're going to want to add something to go through both of these plates. Scroll your wheel to adjust to how you want. But let's zoom in on one of our plates. This time, we want to be able to draw on our plate that's already cut. So you can select either the plate or the bits inside, and you should be able to see the buttons again, and you should be able to hit Create Sketch. If it brings you down again, scroll outward and scroll inward. If that's too difficult, you could just press down on a mouse wheel and you can drag around. Now that we have it adjusted, we're going to make a small rectangle that goes through both of our dots in our 8. And this goes for any numbers that have holes in it. 6, 9, 8, those count. So, we're going to drag our rectangle down through here. And we just need to make sure it's inside of our plate. Good. Now that that's made, we're going to highlight our new rectangle, copy it, and paste it. And we're going to move it to this 8. If it extends, you can just slowly bring it across. You should be able to adjust it to your size. If it doesn't look proper, you can use the dimension button and properly size it. You could do 0.15, and you could do 0.15. There you go. If it pops out for whatever reason, don't forget you can just manually adjust it so that it stays within the constraints of your plate. There we go. Now we need to do this to the other plate as well. To make sure that this is proper and in the middle, I would recommend adjusting it to how you think it should look, but it should be all right nonetheless. Perfect. Now we have 2 rectangles to properly cover up our 8 holes. We need to do this to the other side as well. So to do so, we are going to highlight both of these, hit Control C, and we're going to zoom out. Make sure to zoom in or hold down your scroll wheel to adjust your screen, and hit Control V. Now they should both be highlighted and copied. Grab one of the highlighted edges and drag both of them all the way across to your new 8. To make sure that it's as accurate as you want, make sure to adjust that both of the 8s are as aligned as you wish for them to be. Pretty good. If, for whatever reason, you grab the wrong 8, just highlight the edges again and drag the highlighted ones across. And there you go. Make sure that it fully covers both sides of the 8 and hit Finish Sketch. Awesome. Now hit the front button on the top right of your cube and you should be able to properly see your whole sketch. Now, once again, we're going to hit the top right corner of our cube and we get our angle once more. We're going to extrude once again. We want to click each of the faces. However, this time, we want the direction to be flipped. We want to make sure our distance remains 0.25 inches. But instead of it being cut, we want it to join. Once that's done, hit OK. And look, now our 8s are joined together. These are the basics on how to make our flipped plate. The idea here is you would 3D print or make it out of whatever material and spray paint the base plate just white, and spray paint one side red, and spray paint one side blue. That way, you should be able to just flip the plate over for whatever side aligns you are on. Now, if you choose to 3D print this or save this as a file, you could just go to File, you could Save As, or you could export it. We can save as. Let's do plate. And it'll be saved as an IPT in Autodesk INVENTOR parts. Now that's all well and good that we have saved this, but what if we want to 3D print all of these parts? Well, we go to Environments, and we go to 3D Print. Now we have the basis of our plate in a 3D print workspace. Go to STL, and you can change the file name to plate, or you could keep it as such, and save it as an STL file. Once you're done with that, you can just exit 3D print, and now you're back to here. And finally, if you have any more questions or comments or concerns, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to Lunatex for more FTC-related content and more.